I'm having a bad hair day, so that's why my hair looks like this. I don't know what to do with it, so bear with me.
So many people that I know, they just trying to touch you.
Hey everybody, and welcome back to my channel. It's Gio here. So today will be my long-awaited college dropout story. So many people have asked me to do an explanation video explaining everything that had happened, why I'm not in my dorm anymore, why I'm not at the school anymore, why I live at home now. So today I'm going to be explaining everything that happened. So it's going to be a really interesting story time because it felt like those 2 days that I was at that school were the longest 2 days of my life. I just see those 2 days as something bad that happened, and I just really didn't want to think back on it, but I still just wrote it on my notes. So I'm going to be reading off my notes because I didn't want to leave anything out so you guys can know the full story. So it all started on move-in day. If you haven't seen my vlog, I'm going to put it right here. On move-in day, I woke up, I was hella scared. I was super nervous the entire day. I had all my things in my room and I packed them up in the car, and then we left to the school. Before I got moved into the actual dorm, I had to go to the financial aid office and settle some things out with like the school and stuff. But whenever we got to the school, we were kind of lost because the campus is really big and my dad had never been there before, and this was his first time on campus, so he was really lost. And there was a bunch of cops directing everyone like where to go. My dad just wanted to go straight to the dorms to get everything out, but I had to tell him that we had to go to the office first because in my mind I thought that if I didn't get this situated first that I wasn't going to be able to move in. My dad didn't listen to me and he just went straight to the dorms. We parked in front of the dorm building, and there was this guy, like the freshman group leader thing, I don't know what it's called, but he had a clipboard and he was like, "Hi, what's your name?" And I told him my name and he was like, "Oh, you're in room," I even forgot the room number, I don't even know what number it is. He was like, "You need to hurry up and get your things down because there's gonna be a bunch of more freshmen coming and we can't have like the parking lot full." And I was like, okay. So the whole time, like, I was low-key freaking out because my dad didn't listen to me and we just went straight to dorms instead of handling the financial business first. So me and my family is me, my dad, my mom, my brother, and my sister, and we got all the things down and we left them in the hallway of like the dorm. And basically I got my room key, like I had to sign some contracts for like the housing stuff, and then after that we were good to go. We settled everything, we unpacked everything, like we put the comforter on the bed, we like set out all my kitchenware stuff and everything, and then we got everything settled. And after that we were gonna leave the dorm, my whole family. We were gonna like go shop for some stuff because we had to go buy some like last minute things. And then it was around 5 or 6 in the afternoon that we finally came back to the campus, and then my parents left, like we said our goodbyes and stuff. And keep in mind that the drive from my house from where I live right now to the school is like 40 minutes, so it's not even that far, but to me it seemed really far because I don't drive, I don't have my driver's license, so to me it just felt like an hour away. And whenever my parents left, I felt my heart kind of dropped because I was so nervous and scared. Like I had this feeling, I don't even know how to explain it. I had a feeling that something was gonna go wrong, and I just felt like I was gonna end up back home. Like I felt like Raven, like predicting the future or something, because it actually did happen. I ended up coming home. After my parents left, the school was having like this school introduction thing, and it was like a magic show and they gave out free food, and me and Arlene went because she's my roommate and my best friend. I don't know if I mentioned that, but Arlene's my roommate and my best friend. Well, she was my roommate. She still is my best friend. The magic show was actually really cool. It was really fun, and the whole time I was just serious the whole time. I wasn't even enjoying the magic show. I was just watching and I was overthinking everything. Arlene noticed that I was really serious. Like I had my resting bitch face, and she was like, "What's wrong?" And I was like, nothing. Like I didn't even tell her what I was thinking about. I was trying to make myself look happy, and I didn't want to tell Arlene everything that I was thinking because I didn't want to freak her out because she was having so much fun at the magic show. After the magic show ended, it ended pretty late. It was around 9, and we went back to the dorm, and I just got in bed, I chilled or whatever, and Arlene got in the shower. And let me tell you, whenever Arlene was getting like her toiletries, like her towel and her pajamas and stuff, it felt like all these emotions were building up inside me. And then when Arlene actually got in the shower, I was just like bust out crying. Like, I don't know what it was. I had actual tears rolling down my cheeks, and it takes a lot for me to like make actual tears, because whenever I cry, it's just my eyes get really watery, but I don't get actual tears. I heard her like turn off the shower and she was about to come out of the bathroom. I didn't want her to see me crying, so I went to the little countertop thing where like the sink was and stuff, and I was taking off my makeup, and the bathroom door was right behind where I was standing, and she got out and she saw that my eyes were kind of red, and she was like, oh my god, Gio, are you crying? And I just ignored her, because I knew that if I said yes or no, that I just would have like bust out crying even more. And she was like, oh my god, Gio, I've never seen you cry. And I was like, Arlene, you're not helping. She was like, why are you crying? And then I was like, because I didn't even want to say like the whole reason. And she was like, are you scared for college? And I was like, yeah, I'm freaking scared for college. And she was like, don't worry, fam, I'm worried for college too. But she said that, but I knew that she wasn't feeling the same thing that I was feeling. And then I eventually stopped crying like a little baby, and then Arlene got in bed, I got in bed, and we were just on our phones, and it was dead silent because I guess the hallways were kind of empty, and me and Arlene, we just sat there in silence, and I was like, I'm bored. And she was like, I'm bored too. It was around 11 at this time. Arlene was like, we should drive around the city to like just explore and get our minds, I don't know, like get our minds to stop thinking, like overthinking or whatever. And I was like, that's a good idea. So I literally left in my pajamas. I don't even think I put on a bra. I took my blanket, I wrapped it around me, and I just got in her car and we just drove around. We drove around for an hour. I also forgot to mention that for these 2 days, I was so nervous and scared that I literally did not eat. I literally did not eat anything for 48 hours. And the thing is, I was so nervous that I was so scared and nervous, I wasn't even thinking of how hungry I am. I would get hungry, but I felt like if I would eat something, I was just gonna throw it up. Anyway, back to like the story. We drove by McDonald's, and I was like, I feel like eating some fries. So we stopped at McDonald's and we got some fries and stuff, and then we drove around, we ate the fries or whatever. As Arlene was driving, I felt nauseous, and I was like, oh my god, I'm just gonna throw up in Arlene's car. But I didn't throw up. And we got back to the dorm and we basically went to sleep. This is where it gets interesting. I woke up like around 3 in the morning, just like, what's it called whenever you do that? Whenever you want to throw up, like, I had the trash can on the bottom of my desk, and those beds are really freaking tall and I'm really freaking short. So I had to use the chair from my desk to get down and get the trash can and throw up in the middle of the night in bed. And this is gonna be TMI, but I couldn't get the trash can fast enough. I eventually ended up throwing up in the trash can, but I had to catch my vomit in my hand, which I know that sounds really disgusting, but you guys wanted the full story, so I'm telling you. I ended up throwing up in my hand, and I had to like throw it in the trash can, and I was like, oh my god, this is so freaking disgusting. It was basically every single fry that I ate. I tried to eat french fries, and I basically didn't eat them. Like, I wasted my money because I just ended up throwing them up. So I had to get out of bed, wash my hands, and I went back to sleep. And we woke up, I think it was around 6 in the morning, because we had to wake up really early to go to the financial aid office again, because we never went on move-in day. So we went or whatever, and it was the longest walk of my life. Oh my god, I had not eaten breakfast, and it was such a long walk, and Arlene didn't want to drive because at college, parking is hell. I literally felt like I was gonna faint because I went like 2 days without eating, and it was so freaking hot. It was around August. Yeah, it was August, and especially in Mobile, Alabama, it's freaking hot over there. We went to the financial aid office, and whenever I went to the office or whatever, the guy who was doing my business stuff, he told me that I had to pay some money like at that moment, and I did not know that. So I was low-key freaking out whenever he told me that, because my mom didn't know. So I called my mom, and she was like, oh my god, like, what am I gonna do? Like, we don't have the money right now. So she told my dad, and my dad said that he was gonna try really hard to get the money. But I saw this as a sign from God. I was thinking, what if we don't have the money and I have to go back home? I can just tell my mom the truth that I don't even want to be at this school because I just felt so uncomfortable, and I could just go home. After we went to the office thing, my dad was trying to figure out everything, and we went to this thing called freshman convocation. I think that's what it's called, I'm not sure. And it's basically for like an assembly for freshmen, and like the cheerleaders perform, and like the college like principal people, like the really important people, they talk about the classes of the university and stuff. And throughout this whole thing, I was bawling my eyes out. Like I felt like such a crybaby throughout these 2 days because I did nothing but cry and not eat. That's all I did. And then I was texting my mom the whole time. I think that's like the deepest conversation I've ever had with my mom. She was telling me like what I wanted to do if my dad didn't get the money, and I was like, well, to be honest, I want to go back home because I don't feel good, I don't feel comfortable. And like, you know, whenever you go off to college, you're supposed to feel right about the college because I mean, you're gonna be paying thousands of dollars, and if you don't feel comfortable, then like that's not good. So I was telling my mom that I wanted to go back home, and she was kind of disappointed in me. That's the main reason why I didn't tell my parents in the first place that I wanted to go back home, because I felt like I was gonna let so many people down, including my parents, because they had put in so much time and effort into doing everything for the college and buying all my dorm stuff, and I just felt like I wasted so much of their time and effort. And especially my dad, he was so proud of me. He kept telling my mom that he was super proud of me because I was actually going off to a university. I would have been the first person to go to an actual university because my sister went to a community college and she didn't drop out, but she stopped going. And that he really sees a future for me, and that just really got to me. That's the main reason why I didn't tell him. At this freshman thing, Arlene started crying too because I guess my feelings got to her. I guess she started overthinking like, oh my god, I'm gonna be here alone without any friends, because she didn't really know anybody, like we were new there. After the freshman thing, we went back to the dorm. I called my mom and my mom was like, yo, like your dad got the money, whatever, do you want him to use it? Like, do you want him to pay for the college so you can keep going? And I was like, no. Like, I told her the truth. Like, if I didn't, imagine if I wouldn't have told her the truth, I would have been so unhappy, stuck at that college. And I was like, no, like I don't want him to use the money. I'd rather him save it and use it for something else, because I know that I'm gonna regret it, and I don't want you guys to spend it on something. And after that, she was like, well, are you 100% sure? Because she kept telling me that I was just overthinking everything because I was new to the school and I had to get used to it. But I just knew, like, so like literally anybody that I talked to would tell me, oh, you have to get used to it. But there's a difference between getting used to something and literally knowing that you're not gonna enjoy it. So I went with my gut instinct. I don't even, look at me trying to be all Englishy. I don't even know if that's how you say it. But I went with my gut and I told my mom no. And then she was like, oh, well, you have to go to the offices and withdraw everything. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna go do that, and then I'm gonna come back and pack my things. So I went to the offices with Arlene, and Arlene was super sad the whole time. And I went to the housing office, I withdrew my housing contract, and then I went to the financial aid office and I withdrew like all the payments and everything. So I got rid of everything. I basically dropped everything. I went back to the dorm and I packed everything, and I don't know if Arlene's gonna get mad if I say this, but whenever I was packing my things, she had a panic/anxiety attack. And I'm not saying this to make fun of her, because if I was in her situation, I would have done the same thing. Like, to see my best friend go back home, I'm gonna be here alone, and she started crying. I was basically leaving her behind, and I just felt so bad. To this day, I'm probably gonna feel bad about that for the rest of my life. And after I packed up my things, I waited around 20 minutes, and my mom and my sister came to pick me up, and they packed up everything in the car, and I basically left. And then I came back home, and I felt literally the biggest relief of my life. I came back home and I saw my room, and I knew that this was gonna be like my actual room. Like, I missed my room so much throughout those 2 days. Like, I just felt like my room was heaven. I literally walked into heaven after those 2 days. There's some family that live where I live, and they don't even know the situation because they don't communicate with us that much. And a while back, I was at this event, and some family members came up to me and they were like, oh, how are you liking it over there? And I was like, what do you mean over there? I didn't say it, but in my brain I was like, oh, they still think that I'm in Alabama, like the University at Alabama. And I was like, It's going great. It's going good. They asked me how college was going, and I bent the truth, but I didn't tell them the whole truth. I told them that everything was great, but they don't know that I'm at a different college. So I am satisfied with my life right now. Obviously, I'm not the happiest with my life because things go wrong all the time, but I'm really happy where I'm at right now. I live at home with my parents. I still am in college. I go to classes. Arlene, she has made some amazing new friends. She has so much fun over there, and she's actually really happy. She's always telling me that she has so much fun over there, and I'm really happy for her. She's a really smart person, and I see an awesome future for her. So Arlene, if you're watching this, I believe in you, girl. So yeah, that is the story of how and why I dropped out of college after 2 days. And keep in mind, this was only a Saturday, I think, and a Sunday, and classes started on a Tuesday. I went to college and I dropped out before classes even started. Go me. I hope you guys enjoyed this story, and I hope you guys are satisfied now that I told you guys the whole story. And if you're new to my channel, don't forget to subscribe and like this video if you enjoyed this story, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.